I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the channel. And today we're going to talk about my early day success as a motorcycle rider and racer. But you know, when you race, the success doesn't start when you race. It starts at your early childhood development. I think every person is different, and every person has a certain level of degree of success or how they approach life. You know, some people are casual and they just relax and they don't really care. And some people are aggressive and they want to be the best they can be. So there's lots of different kinds of perspectives of life, even as early childhood that we develop. And my mom always taught me to be the best I could be, to dress as well as possible. I didn't like to dress very nice. My mom says, you know, dress for success, you know, look good. And I used to kind of comb my hair and do things for my mom, and she'd be very proud of me and very happy. So all the successful things that I did, she was always happy. And she always taught me, Brian, teach people the successful things about life. Don't teach them the negatives, because there's lots of negatives and we learn the negatives easily. But always paint yourself in a positive light and always let people see the good part about yourself. Always promote yourself in a positive light. Just yesterday I was watching my vlog about Paul Belisle. He was a childhood friend, a good guy. His dad owned Belisle's restaurant for like 25 years. And he was kind of a wealthy guy, and I wasn't very wealthy. And I had to scratch and crawl for success, and everything that Paul had was kind of given to him. But Paul was a good guy, you know, he was just a nice person. He passed away a few years ago, rest in peace. But I was watching his blog just yesterday, and I was like, you know, Paul was just an easygoing guy. When he raced motorcycles, he just went out there and had fun, you know, like he just is enjoying himself, whether he won or lost. And when we were young children, we had Speedway bicycle races at the El Medina track, and I always wanted to win. One day when Sumner McKnight, the old Speedway rider in the United States, came and watched us race, I think he had a girlfriend who was Paul's sister. And I said, I'm going to win for Sumner. I used to go to Costa Mesa and watch Sumner race. And he was a good rider. He was excellent. And when Sumner was there, I won for Sumner. You know, Sumner didn't even know who I was, and he probably didn't even watch. He probably didn't care. But me, as a young boy, I said, I'm going to win every race. I'm going to win everything for Sumner McKnight. And I went ahead and won everything for Sumner McKnight. I was driven. And Paul was just the easygoing guy, you know, whatever. And as we progressed and as we got Speedway bikes together, I was also driven, you know. I wanted to win, and I wasn't happy when I lost. When I first started racing, I wasn't very good. I had no lessons, I had no seat time. And I lost a lot, and I was not happy, even though, you know, I wasn't very good. And I remember one of my first races was against Siggy, Dennis Sigalos. And he was a polished rider. He had been riding for like 4 years, even as a young boy. We were both 16 years old at the time. And I said, I'm going to beat that guy's butt, you know. And Siggy was way advanced than me. You know, I had like 1 week on a Speedway bike, and Siggy had like 4 years. So he had a little jump start on me. But I just didn't care. I saw him in those beautiful, shiny new leathers. And I said to myself, I'm going to beat that guy. I'm going to beat his ass. And he was just, you know, my age. But he was very polished, and I was just raw and a new rider. And I was beating him for about the first 60 feet or so, and then he passed me by. I was so mad. Siggy beat me. I said, I got to get better, Brian. I got to get better so I can beat these guys. So my drive as a racer has always been strong. You know, I hate to lose. You know, anytime I lose, even second place, I'm very mad. I'm very angry. And sometimes when I was racing Speedway back at Costa Mesa just a few years ago, I wanted to win all the time. And I still do. If I get on a Speedway bike, I get very mad at myself if I don't win. And I don't win every race, by the way. And sometimes when I was racing, I would get very angry if I didn't do well that night. I I was a bad sport. You know, that's a part about me that I really don't like, is that I'm too competitive and I want to win too much. It's okay to want to win, but if you go overboard, it's maybe not so good. And that's kind of the way I am. I'm kind of not so good because I expect to win every race. Even if I haven't raced for 10 years, I expect to go out there and win. That's just my mindset. And so sometimes when I was racing at Costa Mesa, I didn't win. And when I didn't win, I got so mad at myself. I didn't blame other people. I always blame myself. But I got so mad, what I did is I just went ahead and just packed up my stuff and I just went home and watched Saturday Night Live on TV and just relaxed and went to bed. And then the following week, I would come to the races and all my fans would say, like, I looked for you after the races and you were gone. Like, what happened to you? And I said, well, I was upset that I didn't do good, so I just packed up my bags and I went home. So that competitive nature, that hunger, that thirst to succeed is something that is inside of you. It's not something that you create or you develop or you inherit. You just, it's there from birth almost. And that's kind of the way I am. I hate to lose. And some guy, I think it was Brent, he said, I don't think you ever finished in last place when you were a young teenager. And I don't remember, except for my first year in D3, when I advanced and got out of that, I never finished last place. Seriously, I don't even remember that. I always either got first or second place, rarely got third place. But I always was driven to succeed. I never wanted to finish last place anytime. And even now, if I were to finish last place, I'd be very angry at myself. I'd be very mad because I just don't expect myself to be that kind of rider.